I'm going to attempt to do this video sitting in my chair. This is a tunnel card featuring the Raven. He is a watercolor and ink drawing that I did. Tunnel cards have several holes down through the book. And so the first card is some scrap gel prints, and I just chose some blue colors to put behind the bird so it would be like he's flying. And that was old tissue from a pair of shoes I bought. Yes, we vibe. But anyway, gel prints behind are kind of a blue color. And then Raven is all one piece, and then I cut him out, and I drew him specifically to be around the outer edge of the card. Let me see, I think it's a file folder stock underneath. So then on this side I cut out some commercial paper, snowflakes, added some bits of paper doilies, because this page I have little tabs on the side of it also, and that is winter. So this Raven, I cut out a tissue paper, several layers. There's at least 4, maybe. And it's doubled, so it was folded in the middle. Maybe even 5 layers. So it kind of gives it a funny textured look to it. And this was a gel print. I call some of my gel prints like fails, but I save them all because there is no telling what you can use them for. And this is probably a very good example. I cut it apart and did the layers. I've got other gel prints underneath. That's an old dictionary page that probably cleaned my brayer on. And then this tree section. And there's some blue back here on the back of that, so that's some gel print. This is also another gel print in here. So then you also have a hole cut in this one. So that hole is, yeah, they're all almost the same size. And it doesn't matter if you do see something in the next hole. Oh, and I added some fiber paste to make it look like snow. So that's winter. This page is spring, and here's my little tab here. So this is a file folder underneath. And I probably sprayed oxide spray on here. I think the other ones I completely covered up pretty much, yes. But this one I didn't completely cover up, so I sprayed around or used the brush and brushed some oxide ink pad on it. And these were cut out birds from a card. Sometimes people save me all their old cards, and then I can just cut them apart and use parts of them. So I drew the tree back here behind, but it almost matches up, or it does, of my big tree in my yard. And so I brought it out to here and put little bits of green on it because it's springtime, just starting out. Added some cutout flowers. This was on cardstock, and it is paste, not fiber paste, but a thicker paste, not glue paste. With a stencil, I colored it brown with a spray oxide, and then spread it, and then pulled the stencil, and it left the little brick design. I have music paper behind. And no other really collage. I did add a little sticker there and a little seed envelope from probably a seed catalog. And some actual stickers, a couple chickens. And music page on this side. And it doesn't matter which direction the notes go, that kind of adds interest to the depth. Turn the page. So both pages, the holes, it doesn't really matter what's behind it, but the book itself, I wanted the tree to be part of the whole thing. So this one, the tab says summer. I have it on both sides. There it is. So summer, the leaves are coming on out. A tree is fuller. I've added some glitter glue. Elmer's has a glitter glue. I cut out some butterflies, and that was some kind of scrapbooking trim. That was a whole row of butterflies, and so I just cut them separately. And a dragon fly, and a word, and that is some scrap paper that had some fiber texture to it, and I sprayed it green with a little water so it spread, and it's got several of them all over the page as kind of the leaves. And again, I added some stickers, and the paintbrush is a sticker, and the bricks down below is the paste with a stencil. And this music sheet is running the right direction, and I sprayed it with oxide spray, and I might have sprayed the paper first with water, then a spritz of oxide, and then sprayed more water. And a lot of times these sheets, when I'm doing some other project, I will have music sheets, tissue paper, dictionary pages covering my desk, so when it sprays, it doesn't just go on my desk, it actually goes on the papers, and then I save them in my big folder for sheets to use in journals, or in this case, cutting it up. So that's summer. And then fall, I added a whole lot more of that texturized, well actually this is a different texturized paper. It was from an old photo album. I believe it was a photo album. And I just recycled all the paper that was in it because it was very textured, pretty flimsy, not well pressed, I guess you call it. So on this one, I collaged a little bit of music sheets on top of the other music sheets. I did a stamp in there, and I put leaves on the ground, so to speak. And then that is the tree itself that I drew out from the center, and it's a watercolor. Adding some of the oxide spray in, I think it's honey or amber, and then splattered it with the white dots. And just glued my watercolor picture on there, and then drew beyond the watercolor picture onto the music sheets. And then this page, I just added it because I wanted to have my eco-dyed coffee paper. And this was leaves from the big old oak tree in my yard. It's 400 to 500 years old. And you layer the leaves and your paper and cook it in, bundle them up, put them in a metal pan that you can put on the stove. And I've got one of those bigger baking dishes like they use at restaurants at the, what do they call it, the cafe bar where you go up and serve yourself. Anyway, those big pans are rectangle or squares, and the typing paper fits in there perfectly. So this is just typing paper, and then I fill it with the coffee mixture and reheat it every so often. I don't boil it because there is paper, and sometimes there's stencils and such in the batch of dye paper. And you reheat it several times that day. Like I might start making it at noon or 3 o'clock, and then I'll heat it 3 or 4 times, then let it sit overnight, and then the next day around 12 I'll take it all out, let it drain for a little bit, and then unwrap it and lay all the sheets of paper on my deck, hoping it's not a windy day, and leave the leaves in place, because when they dry, somehow it does that every time. So there are several different dye techniques I've been doing. That was 2 leaves laying side by side. And then sometimes I will spray it with coffee afterwards if there's not enough interest on the page. This one I splattered with gold splatters after it was dry, or maybe even when it was glued into the book, and that's when I splattered the gold spray on it. That's a Zora Hurston quote. She's a very interesting person if you find her book. So that's how it looks on each one of those pages. And see, it builds up the tree to different seasons. Except for this one. I don't know what I was doing there. But this is maybe the second one I've done. So technique is still learning. But I'm really into the ravens, and that's why I've got the raven on the front. And it's all watercolor. Some of it is metallic watercolor. Alrighty.